According to Kelley Blue Book, EV sales in the U.S. market surpassed 1 million units for the first time in 2023. But not everyone is on board just yet. On today's show, we are discussing the findings of Cox Automotive's new 2024 Path to EV Adoption Study. Joining us now is Vanessa Ton, who's a Senior Manager of Research and Market Intelligence with Cox Automotive. So thank you, Vanessa, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us on the show to go over these very important stats that you've come up with here. So let's kind of jump right in if we can. Tell us first and foremost a little bit about the scope of the study.
Well, Jim, it is really hot off the press. We just released it last week, so you're getting somewhat of an exclusive scoop here.
There you go.
So yes, so this research was conducted last quarter of this year, so Q1 of this year, and we talked to 2,500 consumers and about 500 dealers to understand.
Wow.
Yes, to understand their sentiments around EV adoption. We're tracking EV consideration. We're looking at ways to uncover, to influence the EV purchase decision because there's still barriers out there. And then finally, we wanted to monitor the synergy between dealers and OEMs in figuring out how prepared they are for the EV future. So we have a ton of information, a ton of insights, and I do want you to keep in mind that this is a dedicated study to EVs, and we haven't spoken to consumers since 2021. So you're going to see how things shape up, and then from a dealer perspective, we have not spoken to them since 2019. So a lot has happened in the last 5 years, a lot has evolved, and I'm going to tell you some of those insights.
Fantastic. So one of the key takeaways was related to EV consideration being forecast to increase dramatically, but we know that EV sales are growing more slowly. What will it take for EV sales to catch up with consideration?
Well, you are correct. There has been a lull in EV sales, right? But I'm going to say there's going to be a second wave of EV adoption. And we think that wave, based on our research, is going to start happening in 2026. And I'm going to tell you what these consumers are saying.
Okay.
So in our research, we spoke to both EV considerers. So those are the people who are looking to buy an EV in the next 2 years. However, we also spoke to, I call them the EV skeptics. So those are the ones who are saying, you know what, I'm in market for a car in the next 2 years, but I'm not considering an EV at all. And we asked these people, well, what would it take for you to convert over and purchase sooner? And they said, so there's a few things. One, they said it's going to be like in the next 3 to 5 years before I purchase. So that's why I said starting in 2026,
Sure.
Jim. So, but there's 3 factors. The first factor would be, and you're probably not going to be surprised, EV technology has to improve. They said, I'm going to wait until it improves in terms of faster charging time, longer range, improved battery health. And then also, hey, I want to be sure that this EV works in cold weather and hot weather.
Yeah,
so there's all these kinks that has to be worked out.
Yep.
The number 2 thing, they said, you know what? I just need more education on ownership of EV because I want to know how much it costs. I want to know how much it costs to operate it, and just basic things like really how to maintain it, how to operate it. So that's really key. And the third thing, Jim, would be price reduction, because we do know there's still a little bit of a premium for an EV compared to a gas engine vehicle. So people are waiting for the price, I'm going to say price parity between EV and ICE to be comparable. So therefore people say, you know what, this is where I'm going to convert. So those are the 3 main things that we saw in our findings.
Dealers have indicated that EVs are important to their growth of their dealerships, but they lack preparedness when it comes to being the go-to resource for customers and consumers. What are dealers saying about how prepared they are to sell EVs?
Well, in our study, I'm going to say the good news is they're saying dealers are telling us, you know what, I feel that I'm getting more support from OEMs. I'm getting more involvements from the OEM in helping me sell EVs, but also servicing EVs. So that's the good news, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say dealers are heavily invested because they're spending a lot of money with these OEM mandated investments. So 86% of them, so they're really all in to say, you know what, I'm investing, I'm all in. However, it is still a lot of money to invest, and they're investing roughly average of $258,000. So that's a lot of money. However, they have to recoup the money, Jim.
Yeah.
So in recouping this money, they're saying, you know what? I need more support from the OEMs to help me with more qualified EV leads, help me with having information about cost comparisons between EV versus ICE, help me with more sales incentives, more funding or co-op funding for advertising, help me perhaps offer free maintenance to my customers. And then also from a service standpoint, beyond just helping me train my techs, could you help me, OEMs, with equipment? Because it requires special equipment to service EVs because of the risk of electrocution.
Yeah.
So they're raising their hands to say, help me with all these different factors. And I promise you, I'm going to be even more prepared, and I'm going to be ready for this next wave of EVs coming.
Interesting. Yeah. So the OEMs, it kind of starts and stops with the OEM involvement for sure. As I mentioned,
and that's crucial, right? It's
oh my
crucial
gosh,
because it's a
there's
collaboration.
No question. Even right down to the incentives and maybe even the bonuses that they may pay the salesperson for selling an EV. I mean, if OEMs want to get rid of cars, they typically put money, on the hood of that car to say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Salesperson, if you sell this vehicle, you're going to make, a bonus on it. And lo and behold, those vehicles are always the ones to get sold. So,
but it takes a village for dealers,
right.
OEMs. We all have to provide that support to get people comfortable.
That's right. That's right. There's a few eye openers in this report, that's for sure.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, let's get our consumers comfortable from an operating standpoint, from a cost standpoint, and understanding that warranty that I spoke to you about.
Well, that is for sure. Vanessa Ton, Senior Manager of Research and Market Intelligence with Cox Automotive. Thank you so much for your insights today. Really appreciate it. And thank all of you for watching here at CBT News, exclusively at cbtnews.com, and now streaming on Roku and Apple TV. So thank you so much, Vanessa. Really appreciate it. Love to do a follow-up with you to see how things are rolling along.
I'm always happy to see you, and I'm always happy to be on your show.
Great. Thanks so much.